What is up, you guys? Happy Wednesday. It's your boy Marc Proctor, aka Doc Proc, here to discover tips, tricks, and motivation to help get you through the rest of your working week. And on today's episode, I caught up with the exceptionally talented, enthusiastic, extremely charismatic Stefan Keyes. Stefan has been working in the communications and media industry for the last 12 years. He's been working as a journalist for the first 6, but the latter 6, he's been a CTV News Anchor. So I caught up with this Ottawa media mogul to talk about intentional questioning, how to really extract information, build rapport quickly, and craft effective, strong stories. So let's dive right into episode 14 of #Wisdom Wednesdays.
No.
Say, for example, you're talking to somebody and you're trying to get them to open up about something. How do you get somebody to actually open up to you?
I always put people first and just take an interest in their well-being and how they're doing and show appreciation for their time to even talk to you, because people don't have to talk to you. I mean, politicians to a certain degree, there's a level of accountability as to the taxpayers and using media as a mechanism to communicate with the taxpayers. But most other people owe you nothing. They don't owe you their time. They don't owe you their honesty. So that is my approach. I like to connect with the individual and let them know that I'm putting their needs first and then go into an interview. And that doesn't mean it's going to be a soft interview with no hard questions. It means that you are showing appreciation on a human to human level.
What are some tips that you can provide to somebody on how they can build genuine rapport with somebody quickly?
One of the hardest things that I've had to do as a reporter is report on tragedy. And usually when I say tragedy, it can be fatal crashes. Usually there's a loss of life involved. If you show up to a crime scene or the scene of a fatal crash and you know you're working to deadline and you want someone to talk to you, you need an interview to build a story, you probably need to recognize that that fails in comparison to what that individual is going through. And so what I've witnessed is people just running around, approaching people and trying to talk to whomever is willing to speak. My approach is a little different, and I think it's gotten me a lot further, has been to offer your condolences, acknowledge the situation that you're in, and let them know why you are approaching them. For me, as a compassionate individual, I think it's also a courtesy to let a loved one know this is going to be on the news tonight. I can't avoid that from happening, but I want to give you this opportunity to speak about your loved one, to let everyone know who this individual is, what they meant to you, and honor their life, because they're no longer here to speak on their own behalf. You can speak for them. It's not about being a vulture and just getting as close to the family as possible. Speaking to the family is speaking to the individual or individuals who knew that person best, who are entitled to speak on their behalf and showcase who this person is, because we know that the public can be quite judgmental. And in the court of public opinion, based on various situations or how this individual may have lost their life, they may form their own opinions about how that came to be. And so that is why I give loved ones, family, friends, the opportunity to speak about that person. And so if you approach it from that standpoint, and I don't want to call it a tactic, but truly and genuinely and sincerely approach it from that standpoint, people will appreciate that. And they may not be ready to speak at that time, but maybe a day later or maybe 2 days later, they will come to you when they're ready, if they're ready, as opposed to I got the exclusive interview from this person that you may have bullied into trying to talk to you. And that's not the right approach, and it tarnishes the industry. It tarnishes my profession when individuals do that.
A lot of people talk about there being the nonverbal aspect of communication and the verbal aspect of communication. In your opinion, based on your industry experience, what's the best way for someone to understand nonverbal versus verbal communication? And which of the two do you think is more important?
I think they're both equally important. I think it's important to understand when someone's uncomfortable. I think you need to pick up on body language quite a bit. Another tip that I would offer is that a lot of people are uncomfortable in silence. If you are questioning someone or interviewing someone, human tendency is to fill the silence. So if they answer and they pause, The biggest mistake an interviewer can make is perhaps jump in too soon with the next question to fill the silence or to kill the silence. And there's beauty in silence. And if you let it sit there, usually that person has more to say and will say more to fill that silence themselves, and you will get a better or stronger answer. Sometimes people are trying to control their emotions. And so if you ask them something and they answer quickly, but you wait, they tend to open up more. And not that you're always looking for an emotional response or for tears to flow from their eyes, but usually those moments are the most powerful. And so if you are willing to embrace that awkward moment or embrace the tension that can come with silence and no one speaking, sometimes that works much better to your benefit, and you can get a much truer response that is often closer to their heart, but they may have been fearful to say from the outset.
Silence is beautiful. I like that.
Let it rest. Let it rest. If you let it rest, a lot of beautiful music can come after that.
You heard it from Keyes. Nobody owes you their time. They owe you diddly squat. So think about that the next time you're going into a discussion and asking intentional questions. How are you really leading into that discussion? What type of vibe are you giving off? Are you doing things that's gonna tarnish your reputation and your credibility? And are you comfortable enough in silence to wait to hear that beautiful music when it plays? Being consistent with your intentional questioning can definitely be difficult. It takes practice, and even more practice to perfect your style and something that's gonna be true and authentic to who you are. So put in those reps, put in those hours, and one day you too will be able to master your rapport building, storytelling, data extracting, and curious selves. And with that, Marc Proctor out.